Welcome and thank you for joining the GNBS on yet another one of our live videos on social media. We are in the Christmas season and this month we are coming to you live from Courts Main Street, Georgetown. In this edition of the program, you will hear from Mr. Lorenzo Gill and Mr. Jose Skeet, inspectors in our product compliance department. You will hear all about the items that we monitor for the Christmas season to ensure that you, the consumer, make the best choice. I am Bibi Katoon, Communications Officer at the GNBS. We know early in the season, persons tend to shop for their electrical appliances and furniture, along with the bigger items which we are already seeing on deals. In this season, we will let you know of what the GNBS is doing to monitor furniture and electrical appliances, advise you as consumers to make the best choices in terms of quality and affordability as you shop to beautify your homes. We will first start off with Mr. Lorenzo Gill, a senior inspector in our product compliance department, as I've said before. He will be talking about the monitoring of electrical appliances, and we do this to ensure that you, the consumers, get the best quality products there. Welcome, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Bibi.
Can you tell our viewers how and when do we monitor these items?
Okay, now every electrical appliances that are being imported, or I should say, when importers import electrical appliances, inspection is being done at the port of entry, at persons' barn, warehouses, sale outlets, and so on. And we basically check these items to ensure that they comply with the labeling requirements of the national standard for electrical appliances. And this is to ensure that the product is safe, it's of quality, and to ensure that consumers receive the best quality product.
Yes, and can you say, well, you said we do this at the ports of entry and at the bonds. Can you enlighten our persons that are looking at this video on what is it that you look for? What is it that inspectors look for?
Okay, so basically it's the labeling requirements we check for. We basically check to ensure that the electrical appliance have a brand name, it carries a model number, the country of origin, the voltage, the frequency, and most importantly, a certification mark. A certification mark basically attests to the quality of the product. It basically says that the product was manufactured, it was tested, and it's approved, it's of quality, and so they would have affixed a certification mark to that product.
And how often are these checks done?
Okay, every consignment, when an importer imports, every consignment is subject for inspection by the GNBS. So we have inspectors going at the ports of entries, we have inspectors going at the sale outlets, we have inspectors going at the importers' barn or warehouses carrying out inspection to ensure that the products that are coming into Guyana, they comply with the requirements of the national standard.
Today we're at Courts and they have a lot of electrical appliances on sale. What are some of the things that you think consumers can look at to ensure that they protect themselves? Okay,
consumers can look at a product to ensure, like for instance, we're talking about the electrical appliance. They can look and ensure that they're buying an appliance that have a brand name, that carries a model number, that carries the country of origin, the voltage, the frequency, and the certification mark. Is basically the same thing what we, the inspectors, look for when we're doing our inspection. But one of the things I want to say to consumers that whenever you're looking for an appliance, ensure you look for that certification mark. That certification mark, like I would have mentioned earlier, it basically attests to the quality of the product. It basically said that the product was tested and it was approved, and so a certification mark would have been affixed to it. So I would urge consumers to look for that certification mark on that electrical appliance.
You mentioned volt. Why is it important for them to also check that?
Oh, yes, that's a pretty good question. It is very, very much important for persons to check to ensure that an appliance has the label stating the voltage. Now, think about this. If you're living in a 220 volts area and you go to buy a blender that is 110, that doesn't mark or doesn't have any information stating the voltage, and it happens so that that blender is a 110 volt. You take that blender home and you plug it in your 220 point, right? That blender is going to blow, it's going to burn. So we see how important it is for that appliance to have that labeling information stating the volts, right? Because you don't want to buy something, take it home, and then it burn, right?
That's true. That's very true. And So speaking to the importers, what are their responsibilities when they're importing items? Things that they should probably ensure they have before they get to the port of entry.
Okay, we want to urge all importers and dealers. Importers, whenever you're importing electrical appliances, ensure that you contact the GNBS. Have us, if it's possible, you can submit a sample of that product to the GNBS and have us know that, okay, you want to import this product into Guyana. We're gonna check that product, check the labeling requirements to see if it complies, and if it complies, then we're gonna grant approval for the importation. In addition, all importers of electrical appliances must be registered with the GNBS upon importation. Dealers of these products, they should and must ensure that whenever they're selling these products, they should and must ensure that the product complies with the labeling requirements of the GNBS for electrical appliances. All right, so we want to urge importers to ensure that, you know, also there's a standard for electrical appliances. They can come into the GNBS, purchase that standard. They can see what are the requirements for importing, or what are the requirements for electrical appliances that is allowed into Guyana.
Thank you, Lorenzo. So you're basically telling the consumers that they must read their labels, and at the same time the importers must ensure they know what they have to do and purchase the standard.
Yes.
Okay, the GNBS has 283 businesses registered to import electrical appliances. Can importers start registration for 2023 from now?
We would urge importers to get registered the last week in December for the new year. They can start the registration in the last week of December, and in the year 2023, January, they can also commence their registration. But we're only in November right now. I wouldn't urge them to get registered. But if you're an importer and you haven't been registered for the year 2022, then and if you're importing, then you have to be registered with the GNBS for this year. But for the new year, we're going to urge the importers to get registered in the last week of December and into the new year 2023.
All right, thank you very much, Lorenzo. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to urge all consumers that whenever they're making their purchase, read the labels of the electrical appliance. Ensure that whatever appliance you're buying, it fits your application. You know, if it's a blender, ensure you buy the correct blender. You don't want to take a domestic blender and go and use it to do industrial purposes. So I'm going to urge consumers to ensure that whatever it is that they're buying, it fits their application, it fits their need, so they can get the good use and the best use out of their appliance.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now we're talking electrical appliances. To share some additional tips with you that you should consider when shopping for these items, be sure to test your appliances. Test your appliances where you bought them, so that if there is a problem, you can detect it right there and then. Collect a receipt. You must collect a receipt in case you need to replace something. Shop from places which offers warranty. You are supposed to be offered a warranty for all of your electrical appliances, but in cases where there may be a problem and you're not being offered one, then you should go somewhere else and shop where you are offered a warranty. Consider the space where your appliance will be placed to ensure that you purchase a right size appliance for whichever part of your home you're going to place that. And of course, check for labeling requirements outlined in this video. Now we'll move on to talk to you about furniture. Jose, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm quite fine, baby.
I see that we're in the Christmas season and persons are shopping, and you're talking to me about furniture. Have you decided to shop any new pieces?
I have it in mind, but I haven't decided as yet. It's the season for shopping, so most obviously I might do so.
Yes, and it's also a time where you might be able to get the deals as well.
Definitely.
The GNBS monitors furniture as part of their 17 categories of products monitored by the GNBS. Now, let's get into the questions. Can you tell me or enlighten our viewers, what is it that we look for when we monitor furniture?
Okay, like my colleague could have mentioned earlier, similarly, furniture, we basically look at the labeling requirements, and this was derived from the national standard that was drafted for furniture. Things like the furniture must carry a brand, the furniture must carry on the label must state the country of origin, it must state the usage and care, it must state the materials that was used to make the furniture as well. For some furniture, you must state the finish, what type of finish, what type of products has been used to finish the product, the furniture. Sorry.
I know sometimes people say the furniture don't last long, but aren't we supposed to have care labels as well on how to care for the furniture? I mean, if you take something for indoor and put it outdoor, it might not work.
Yes, definitely. So on the label, there must be instructions and information there to guide consumers as to how they must treat the furniture, how they must care for the furniture, whether they should use a damp cloth or should not use a wet cloth to clean the furniture and stuff like that. Some care labels even go as far as to highlight the weight and stuff that the furniture can actually take and stuff like that.
Okay. And can you tell our viewers how often and where do inspectors check these furniture?
Maybe I would want to say very often. As long as a consignment enters Guyana and we recognize that there's furniture within that consignment, an inspection is required on that consignment. As well as twice per year, we would carry out our surveillance our routine surveillance activity on furniture, where we would visit sale outlets, we would visit the manufacturers, and we would have a look at these furniture, and we would also guide these personnel as to what is required by the standard, and we would do our checks, and it goes as far as even checking on the sturdiness and the levelness and all these things of the furniture.
Interesting. You spoke about manufacturer. For local manufacturers, are they required to get a permit from the GNBS?
Yes, they're also required to have a permit, as well as the dealers. Like I said, we would visit them, we would offer our advice, we would offer guidance as to what is required, but all in all, they're also required to have a permit to manufacture the furniture.
Yes, Jose. I'd like to ask you now, what would be your advice to manufacturers and importers?
I would want to advise the manufacturers, the importers, and the dealers of furniture to continue to stick to the requirements of the standard, get registered with the GNBS, because there are so many benefits that can be derived from sticking to the standard. You attract customers, and persons are guaranteed, that the furniture would have met the requirements of the GNBS, and they would feel much more safe and comfortable purchasing from you.
Now you've spoken to the manufacturers and importers and dealers. What about the consumers? I mean, I might be one of those consumers. You will go and pick up a furniture piece. What is it that we should look for?
I would advise the customers to look for the labels, like my colleague would have mentioned earlier. Similarly, they should look for the labels, look for the information, so that they can be in a better position as to how to care for the furniture, how to use the furniture and stuff like that. And the furniture might definitely or will definitely last much longer if they're guided as to what is required in terms of the usage, and also they're able to, because there are persons who buy according to brands and all these things. They can look for the brand, they can look for the manufacturer and all these things, and they would also feel much more safe and comfortable.
All right. Thank you very much. So while the GNBS is working to ensure that you get quality products, you also have the responsibility to check your labels, check your furniture, check your electrical appliances, and do what's best for you and your pocket. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would want to just advise the general public that in purchasing their furniture, they should continue to look for the labels. Dealers continue to register, and even persons who aren't registered yet with the GNBS, they can feel free to reach out to the GNBS and contact us for much more information and much more guidance. We are always there to work with them and to provide information and guidance.
Thank you so much. So you've heard from Jose, and I'd like to add some additional tips which are similar to those for the electrical appliances. Check your furniture for damages and natural defects. Collect receipts on purchase, because this is important if you need to return an item. Shop from places which offers warranty. Consider the space where your furniture will be placed to ensure you purchase the right size furniture, because in one instance we've had a friend who purchased a chair set all to find out that they cannot pass the door to go into the house. You don't want that to happen to you. And of course, check your labeling requirements outlined earlier by my colleagues. Before we bring this live video to a close, there are other products GNBS monitors, which are weighing and measuring devices, textiles, garments, footwear, safety helmets, safety matches, gas stoves, cigarettes, PVC pipes, toys and playthings, Christmas trees and decorative lighting, cellular phones, gold articles, electrical equipment and fittings. Thank you to our product compliance department and our inspectors who assisted us today. We do hope you were adequately educated and do like our Facebook and Instagram pages to learn more. If you have any questions, you can contact us on 219-0064-66 or WhatsApp us on 692-4627. Goodbye.